got?
I feel good. You know what I'm saying? We
You.
talked about the Cavs, talked about the Guardians. Now, okay, Ohio State Buckeyes.
There we go. National
I'm
champ.
excited. I'm excited about our receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we did get some decent. We did get some transfers. For our running back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, we're Ohio State. We make it happen anyways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But our receivers,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited about seeing.
Yeah. I mean, they become receiver you. I mean, like the
Yeah.
top receivers go to Ohio State.
Yep.
And typically we get the top or at least close to the top running backs that go to Ohio State.
Right.
So the offense is usually, is usually we used to be linebackers, defensive ends, those guys like that. We still get those, but it's really been the receivers that people are talking about.
Right.
And it's just I think that obviously winning a national championship, and let's be honest, there's some guys that don't live in here in around here in Ohio or anything up in this area, that from down south or something, they want to play for their team down there. They just ain't coming here. That's just how it is. Right. That's just how it is. Even though we're national champs, there's guys that just they want to play for they're brought up in the SEC. They're brought up in that mindset, so that's where they want to go. And I'm not mad at that at all. But I think that we do get a big draw, being Ohio State, obviously, from all over. So that's what I think is like there's not everybody can come to Ohio State. Not everybody's going to want to come to Ohio State. That's okay, cool. But I think if we can keep like we've been doing with these receivers, these top receivers coming in, a quarterback who, he might not be, that top tier guy, but he can control the game, which I think is fine. I got no problem with that. Control the game. Don't throw any interceptions in the red zone. Hand off to your running back. Toss to the receivers that we got here. I don't think you have any problem. And we always have had a great offensive line, defensive line. So I'm looking forward to it. I think in any sport it's tough to repeat. So I'm not saying that, it's going to be a cakewalk for us to repeat, but I think they have reloaded, and I think that they can at least be in the conversation for the national championship. It's not going to be easy because again, it's not easy to repeat, especially when guys move around so much. But I must say that in this area of NILs with guys moving around a whole lot, I mean, we struck gold last year at quarterback. with what's the name coming here?
Will Howard. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you just got to be able to fit the guy into your system, and if you have the system, the guy fits into your system, you shouldn't lose anything. And Ohio State, I think, has a system now. And I'm with you, Mike. Listen, I could care less. We can lose to the team up north every single year. But if we are in the national championship, okay. And especially if we win it. Now we can't.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
We can't go there and lose it now. Right. We can't go there and start losing it. But I want to. Let me read. I want to beat them every year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because if we beat, because they do have that on us. Think about it. They beat us and then won the national championship. They do have that on us. We didn't do that to them last year. So I think if we can do that to them, this year, whatever, and then win it, that will be fine. But it's not an easy thing, moving guys around. But I think that Ohio State has a good chance, just like really every year, that Ohio State is that good to have guys come in. Again, when you can turn down 2-3-star recruits because you got other guys in there that's just as good as those 2-3-star. And that's the other thing too, because a guy is rated as a 1 or 5-star recruit from one state, doesn't mean he's going to be a 5-star guy if he's playing at Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? Or, in another thing, in SEC or something like that. He might be good in Utah, But he might not be playing against the competition that he has in Ohio or Texas or something like that. So not taking anything away from him, but a 5-star to me is different when you're playing in city. Ohio is known for high school football. Texas is known for high school football. Utah ain't known for high school football. You know what I'm saying? They're just not. So a guy coming, 5-star recruit coming from there that don't want to come here, I'm not mad. I'm not mad, you know. So that's just my take on the Buckeyes.
Yeah, you had your diamonds in the rough though.
Yeah, you do, Scatterboo. No, you have your diamond. You do. Don't get me wrong, because I think then that's the thing I was saying. We're gonna roll into the Browns now, is because I think if you can play football, they're gonna find you wherever you can play football. Oh man, I'm just thinking of my man's name. The linebacker that came from John Carroll. Cannot think of his name right now, but I played for the Rams, but I remember his name. But that's a Division III, Division IV school, whatever John Carroll is. But he stayed in the league, and he was a heck of a linebacker. They'll find you if you can play ball. I can't think of his name right now, but that's okay. But let's roll into these Browns.
I got a story about him too.
But okay. Let's roll into these Brownies, and we're gonna get into Mike's story here. But all right. So the last time we talked, I think we were just trying to figure out like what the Browns were gonna do when we drafted. Because I think we haven't talked since the draft. Actually, we did our little draft thing, but we haven't talked since then. So Browns go out. They move down to the number 5 spot, pick up another first-round pick and a second-round pick, and they draft Mason Graham. They let Travis Hunter go. They let some guy named Sanders go. They didn't pick him, but they picked Mason Graham. And then they picked at 33, and they picked some linebacker that they didn't pick, this Sanders kid, whose dad, I guess, was a pretty good football player. You know, right. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Then they go a little further down. They get a look. They get a few guys here and there, and then they finally get down to like the 5th pick, and they pick a quarterback. But it ain't that Sanders kid. It's some little short quarterback from Oregon named Gabriel. And then they wait all the way to the 5th round, and they move back up to take this kid Sanders.
Got our blessing.
Who is this kid Sanders? I mean,
our blessing.
Like Colonel Sanders. I don't know. Is he bringing fried chicken to the? That's why they want him, because he can bring fried chicken. Because he's Colonel Sanders, and that's what they call him. But all right, so we went through all of that to say that the Browns, they broke things up a little bit. They moved down. They got some extra picks, and they did some things. And it was, from that first day on, it was all about, not just for the Browns, but for the whole league, was about the Shedeur Sanders watch. Shedeur Sanders fell from what many said should have been the number 2 pick all the way down into the 5th round, where the Browns moved back up into the 5th round to pick him. Okay, so first off, what do you think about the draft? What do you think about what the Browns did? Did they get everything they needed? Did they get good picks? You got guys that can come in. You think are going to make an impact on them? Did they waste some picks? I don't know. I'm gonna let you go first, Mike Jack, because you got a story.
Yeah. No. I just want to say London Fletcher is a great guy, man.
That's it. London Fletcher. Thank you. Yeah. John Carroll.
Him and my cousin were actually best friends. So my cousin works on houses, and I'm still in high school, man. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna do. I used to work with him. We're gonna work on London Fletcher, one of the London Fletcher rental properties. So I'm like, when I tell you London Fletcher was just so down to earth, I forgot that he was even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what everybody says.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, London Fletcher! Shout out to London Fletcher, man. He's great.
Shout out
for real.
And again, to go from a small little school like John Carroll to play in the NFL for as long as he did and be an impactful player. Shout outs to London Fletcher. Definitely.
Also, so when I first started fantasy, our league had defense. So shout out to London Fletcher because he. I drafted him every year.
There you go. Yeah. All right. That'll work.
As far as the Browns, I digress. As far as the Browns, I think we did decent. I think we did great. I think we put ourselves in a great position to turn this team around.
Okay.
We got our quarterback.
We got our quarterback.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
we got Mason Graham who could help Myles Garrett. Our line. And I think our defensive line is. I can't wait to see how they look.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot. Even though Schlesinger has yet to show anything yet, I just think he's a good linebacker, and he knows where to find that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
the ball hawk.
He's a ball hawk, right? I think it was a blessing getting Sanders where we got him at because of our cap space. So we got 2 rookie quarterbacks that we didn't have to pay round one money for.
Yes.
If they don't work out, like you said, we're gonna have 2 first-round picks next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that quarterback draft.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Sanders will work out so we can use maybe the number ones to start working on our offensive line and some receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't pan out, I love next year's quarterback draft. So I think we put ourselves in a good position to turn this team around. Maybe not this year. I still think I still don't count us out because we did bring in 2 good running backs.
Yeah.
I think Jenkins gonna be a beast. I think Harold is gonna be a hell of a tight end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even if we want, we still can trade Njoku for a round, maybe second round, third round pick.
Okay.
So I think we're in a good position to turn this team around. We got some good top players to come in and contribute this year.
Okay. And so before I go to Matt, what would you grade the draft at?
I graded him a B.
Okay. I think we had talked about it before, but I couldn't remember. All right, Matt, what you say? What say you, Matt? We know you leaving and going to the Bengals because
the Bengals, not the Browns.
What do you say about the Bengals?
Yeah.
You ain't talk about the Browns.
Yeah.
No negativity.
I'm gonna talk about the Browns. The Bengals had a terrible draft, by the way. But the Browns, I feel like the Browns, like, despite the confusion and picking people where they shouldn't have been picked, I think the Browns had a really good draft. Like, Dylan Gabriel shouldn't have been picked in the 3rd round, like, at all. Don't be so surprised, Pop. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel shouldn't have been picked in the 3rd round. If they were going to pick a quarterback, it should have just been Shedeur from the beginning. I don't know why. I will never know why. I don't care why he slid. He's on the Browns, and that's all that matters. But the Browns hit. Schlesinger was the number 2 overall rated inside linebacker in college. And it makes sense now why they drafted him because JOK's future is not looking that great.
Shout outs to JOK. Get well, brother. Get well.
We hope he comes back. Like, we really need definitely a leader on this team.
Right.
But the Browns hit, just post-draft reaction. The Browns had a really good draft. And I'm super excited to see Junkins. I'm super excited to see Harold Fannin. Mason Graham. I'm excited to see what the defense looks like. even though we're missing JOK. I think the Browns hit. Like, this is the best draft I think they've had since they drafted, in my opinion, Baker at 1 and Denzel Ward at number 3. That was one of my favorite drafts that the Cleveland Browns had in recent memory. And this
draft,
every pick they addressed the need and they hit, and they kept a lot of players local. Like Harold Fannin from Bowling Green. It's like just fan favorite. Junkins from Ohio State, like a fan favorite. Like, the Browns are starting to learn, if you want to, put more fans in the seats and get people to come watch.
Mason Graham from that state up north.
I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about Junkins and Fannin. So and actually, they brought in somebody, a wide receiver from Toledo. He was undrafted free agent. Yeah. He was a dog. They call him the next Wes Welker. His number is 86. Forgot his name. But he was a beast in college. He was like the best player on the team. But yeah, I love what the Browns did in the NFL draft. It was solid. For me, I would give the Browns like a B+ in the draft. The only reason why I didn't give him an A, because you took a quarterback you didn't need to take, and Dillon Gabriel. On the depth chart right now, they're saying him and Kenny Pickett are on the bottom, and it's Flacco and Sanders looking like 1 and 2 right now. So besides them drafting Dillon Gabriel, I think the Browns had a great draft. It would have been an A if they didn't take Dillon Gabriel.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that's how they had that going. Of course, we're just doing OTAs, so it ain't really.
Yeah.
So for me, I think about a B probably would be B-. But I think it was genius to move down, because I don't think that if you brought Travis Hunter in, that he would be the difference maker that I think you can get by moving down, getting a guy like Mason Graham, pairing him with Myles Garrett, and then picking up extra draft picks. And that's what I mean by that. Like, the value, I think, is that much better because you get those extra draft picks. Plus, you get a top 5 guy. Because, RJ had made, shout outs to RJ, had made this comment before. It's like they had been targeting after Mason Graham for a while. They wanted Mason Graham. So they got a guy that they wanted. Browns don't always get the guys that they want. That's something that I've learned, like watching them over the last, since they've been back, is they target guys that they want, but they don't always get them. And this is including even coaches that they want, that they don't necessarily. So normally when the Browns get somebody, it's the 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th pick that they really wanted. But they got the guy that they wanted. They got the extra draft picks. We didn't know what was going on with JOK. We kind of had an idea. And again, shout outs to JOK. Just get better, brother. It's not so much about, I'm not so much worried about you coming back to play football. If you can, that's great. But I just want you to have a healthy life, brother. That's the main thing. To be able to walk around, if you have kids, to be able to engage with your kids, your family, and all that kind of stuff. That's more important than any football game will ever be. If you can come back and play football, we definitely would want you back. But they got their linebacker. I didn't really know this kid, Schlesinger, that well. I've heard him, but I didn't really know him that well. Probably because he plays out on the West Coast. I don't really watch those games that much, if I'm just being honest. This is how it is. And then they went and got the 2 running backs, and I was like, oh, they got not 1, but 2 running backs. 2 great running backs is what I think.
Yeah.
And then they got the tight end, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, well, they ain't picked up no quarterback though. Like, who they gonna hit? And then they picked Dillon Gabriel. Now, a lot of people don't like Dillon Gabriel. I understand. Another short quarterback and all that kind of stuff. But he has played a lot of football. I know it's been in college, but he's played a lot of winning football, including beating us at times. So I think, okay. Then there was Shedeur. We've already talked about that whole thing and everything. But I think the thing is that you get this guy and he's going to be hungry. And I think that Dillon Gabriel is going to be just as hungry because everybody's talking about Shedeur. So hopefully it'll be healthy, good competition between the 2 of them in practice, where they're pushing each other. You know what I'm saying? Like you do something, I want to try and top that. I want to try and top you. Now I do something you want to try and top. That's good. That's good. Flacco doesn't have to really worry about anything. And
Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens doesn't have to really worry about anything either. They're either going to be here or be traded to somebody that can use one of them. I think we had talked about this before. It'll be either Flacco or Pickens will be your starter, and then the other two, the rookies, will get a chance to be the backup. And the only reason I say that is because I think in that first, I think it's like first 5 or 6 games are really, kind of tough games and all that. I think they want to put their veterans out there who played already. That probably gives you your best chance of winning. But after that, when they come back from London and all that kind of stuff, you might as well see what you got in the rookies. And I think it'll be less pressure on the rookies. It'll be some pressure on them, but less pressure on the rookies when they come back here in the States and they can play. So I think they'll probably kind of maybe even out those last few games. And then if one stands out before the other one, then he'll become the starter before the end of the season, but by that time. And so I think that they have 2 good quarterbacks, but I agree with you, Mike. I think that everybody I listen to says the same thing about next year's class. And I think that's what they were thinking. Like, if we could hit on either one of these quarterbacks that we got this year, we got a good backup quarterback. That's what I think that they're looking at. Backup quarterback. Now, because I think for next year, they're looking at these guys that are coming out next year. And I think they think those are the franchise quarterbacks coming out next year. And we'll get, depending on our record. And I don't think our record is going to be as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be. I really think that, I think we can double our wins from last year. Obviously, and that's not that much. It's 6 wins. I think we can do that. But I think I had said this before. If you got 3 quarterbacks starting in a 17-game season, right? And you start your veteran quarterback in the first 6 games, and he goes 3-3, 500, right? 6 games, right? You still got 11 games. If each of your rookie quarterbacks comes in and wins 2 games, right? That's 7 wins right there. 7 wins. You've already doubled what you did last year. Anybody that's a fan would take 7 wins this year. You might be able to get 8. You might be at the second to the last game. You might be talking about, what's that? It's playoffs. Do we smell the playoffs? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? You can do this, and they can do that. That first part of the season is going to be the toughest part, and then as they go, the whole season is going to be tough. But as they go on, I think that they can get into some games where they can actually be competitive and actually have a chance to win. Because here's the thing: they're going to lose some games they should win, and then they're going to win some games that they shouldn't win. That happens all the time. But I think that if they continue down the path that they're going, that they're set up good, and if either quarterback comes out and is head and shoulders above everybody else and becomes a starter for the whole season, and you say that's my franchise quarterback, like you said, Mike, now you got 2 picks in the first round. You ain't got to waste on a quarterback.
Right.
No matter how good those quarterbacks might be. Because if you got a guy that has a proven record already that's showing you, you don't need to draft another quarterback. I'm your quarterback. Then why waste your pick on him? Why waste your pick on him? Use those picks for something else. So it'll be interesting to see, how things go as we continue down this season. But man, it's May 31st now, about to be June 1st. We got a while before football starts. So as we always say, we talked about this when we first started the podcast. It's like, everybody talking about all these different, scenarios and all that kind of stuff. There's so much to talk about between now and the time actually the season starts. So many different things can change. So, we'll just go along with what it is right now. As of now, though, I think that they'll probably trade either Pickett or Flacco and start the other one at the beginning of the season, and then let your 2 rookies battle out for the second spot and see if one shines above the other. And at some point, both of them are going to get a chance to start, and both of them are going to get a chance to prove that they should be the man. So all they got to do is go out on the field and prove that I can play quarterback in the NFL. That's all they got to do. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all I got. That's all I got, brothers.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. I mean, I looked at it before and it's like, it's gonna be tough. But I honestly think I do think we get that first win. Sorry, Matt.
Against the Natty.
It's cool. It's gonna be a battle.
Yeah, it's gonna be second one against the tough. I think we could beat Green Bay. And I say this knowing how dominant our defense is.
That's a big thing.
We don't with the defense we have, we don't need our quarterback to go out there and just be a superstar.
There we go.
So I say this, as long as our defense is solid, stays healthy, I think we can have a really I think we can go to Detroit and beat Detroit. I mean, the Vikings. I think we can beat the Vikings. Then we got Steelers, and Steelers don't have a quarterback. So we'll see.
Hold on now.
What they got?
Aaron Rodgers, right?
No, national champion Will Howard.
Oh.
I mean, he has won a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, bro, they got somebody. He might not be the answer, but they got.
But I think they're thinking the same thing too. Our quarterback doesn't have to win us a game; he just doesn't have to lose us a game.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a good running game. We got a good defense.
No turnovers.
Yep.
And just keep the ball moving.
Right. And that's what I say. If
we have the running game now. We haven't had a running game.
Yep.
That's what messed us up last year. We had a running game.
Not a real running game. Right. And injuries.
A lot of stuff messed up the Browns last year, but running game was one. Offensive line being banged up was two. And we didn't really have any. We couldn't get the ball to our playmakers because of those things. And you can't run the ball, no play action, offensive line jacked up, can't do nothing. So, it's a myriad of things. But, it starts with the running game.
So, I'm sorry. I said we have 4 quarterbacks. We actually have 5 quarterbacks.
We do.
Because Deshaun Watson is still on the team.
You still talking about this man?
Yes. Because he's still on the team. And from what Mary Kay Cabot said, who also predicted that we was going to draft 2 quarterbacks. She said Deshaun is out there trying to be the starter. So we got 5 quarterbacks. You know what? It was funny too. And the only reason I say that is because we went through 5 starting quarterbacks 2 years ago. We went through 5 starting quarterbacks last year. And we got 5 quarterbacks at the beginning of the season this year. Crazy.
Do you think that the Browns will give him opportunity to play this year?
No.
Deshaun?
Yeah.
If he comes out and plays better than everybody else, yeah.
Do you think they're going to let him on the field?
No.
If he comes out and plays better than everybody else, yes. You're shaking your head? No. Here's the thing. What do they have to lose?
Their job.
They're going listen. If Deshaun Watson comes out and can be your starting quarterback, proves that he's better than everybody else.
How? When? When would he be able to prove that?
He has to prove that he's better than everybody else.
Where though?
But that's the thing, everybody has to prove that they're better than the other person. There is no starting quarterback right now.
I think if he was healthy right now, okay, he has a chance to compete. He's not going to be good until later on in the season. And it's like, when do he get the opportunity to do that? Because I don't think they're going to put him out there to even show that he can do better than he had. How long he been here?
Right.
He's had the ample opportunities to show.
I agree with that. But I also say that he's been here. He's been injured every year. When he first got here, he had the layoffs. So, I mean, there's a whole lot. I'm just saying, you have 5 quarterbacks on the team. I told you before, I would think that if they were doing this, they would just put him on the IR for the whole year. That's what I would do. But he's listed as one of your quarterbacks. So he's there. What he gets, I don't know. Will he get a chance? I don't know. But I'm just saying he is listed there. And what if he came in and could turn back the clock just a little bit?
I think he
just a little bit. I'm not talking about being exactly what it was, but turn it back just a little bit. Do you think
I think Watson still is a Hall of Fame quarterback, man.
He can be.
Mentally, he wasn't even there. I can only imagine in his head. Football wasn't his priority these past couple of years. Fans going against him. Here goes somebody else that's suing him. I mean, I can only imagine, like, mentally he wasn't there. I think right now he has time to, because of this injury, meditate, think about the past, get over the past, and say, all right, I'm about to focus on this and move forward.
But here's my thing is I think he's done with all of that because he's had time to do that already when he was injured before. I think his best bet is to be on the field and play. But for the Browns, I think the best bet is for them to shelf him for the season. That's just my take.
I agree. I think it's good for the franchise to finally move on. I mean, we tried it. Jimmy Haslam even came out and said, we swung and we missed.
Like, yeah, but that's just you swung and you missed doesn't mean he ain't ever gonna play for you again. Everybody read into that. You know, it's like when Deion said, well, I'm gonna tell my son, you know, certain teams, you know, not to play for or not to go to. You know, everybody, oh my God, Deion doesn't want to play for Cleveland. He never said he didn't want to play for Cleveland.
I agree, because if Deshaun Watson somehow step on the field and he take the Browns to the playoffs, I was a genius. I'm the one who brought him in here. Yeah, of course. But that's how sports goes. Like, you don't want to take accountability when you're messing up, but you want to take all the praise when you know it goes right.
I don't think he ran from accountability when he messed up. I don't think he ever ran from accountability. I think because of the contract and everything that came with him, is that plenty of people, just like with Shedeur, I think plenty of people piled on Shedeur because of what he said, who his daddy is. People just piled on him and said stuff that wasn't even true. And I think the same thing happened with Deshaun Watson, is that people just piled on him because they didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? He did all this stuff. Okay, all right, okay. That's off the field stuff. And we don't even know if half that stuff was true. That's a whole nother story. But and at the time that he was playing, he had different coordinators, you know, different schemes, didn't have the best receiving core, and he was injured. But people just kept piling on him. More about the off-field stuff is what people were really piling on him about. And then, of course, you didn't play well. I mean, you know, it is what it is, you know. And again, that's not saying that he's going to come out and be like he was before. But I do think that he has the ability to be able to come out and be a good quarterback.
I still believe in him.
I'm sorry?
I still believe in him.
Yeah, if he's healthy, and now you have and Mike, you hit it on the head, I think too. You got a running game. And you know, you got guys that you can just hand the ball off to. So you don't have to do everything yourself. You got a decent receiver. I don't know if he's a number one. He might be like 1A in Judy. You got two great tight ends. I mean,
Tillman was balling out before he got hurt.
Tillman was balling out. And again, that's not saying that he's gonna come in and be the, you know, but you still got him on your team. You're paying him. So you still have him on your team. Here's my thing: is if you could get a Deshaun Watson that was let's say half of what he was in 2020, would you take him over every other quarterback you have on your team?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sure you would. You take him over Flacco. You take him over Pickett. You take him over Gillen Dable. You take him over Shedeur. Easily. Now, injury, obviously, you know, he's going, you know, that injury, you know, he's got to work his way back. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think his ability to be able to throw the ball has gone anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think that his mindset is what, and I think Mike had mentioned that, the mindset, you know, because of all the pressure that was on. Think about it. You got all this pressure off the field, but then you come here and people are expecting you to be the franchise saving quarterback. And you can't play right away. You itching to play. You itching to play. You play, you decent that half season that you, the 6 games that you play. You come back the next season, you get injured. You can't get in continuity with nobody. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole, there's so much under that. There's so much under that. But that's a whole nother thing. We're getting into too far in. But I think, again, you have a quarterback that has played. We said this about Kenny Pickett. He's played in the NFL before. So is Deshaun Watson, and been a winning quarterback in the NFL before. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. I'm getting off on it. But I think that if you look at it, is that the Browns are in a great position. I give them a B, maybe a B minus. But I think they filled a lot of holes that they needed to fill. And that's what we were talking about before, is they filled a lot of holes they needed to fill. Andrew Berry. The only thing I say with Andrew Berry is that now you're getting into where you're being graded on picking the number one, top picks. Before you were being graded on picking the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks. Now you're being graded on picking the 1st round picks. Let's see how your 1st round picks compare to some of your 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks. You picked Mason Graham. You picked, it was the top of the 1st round, top of the 2nd round. You picked Schlesinger. All right, so those guys there, now, let's see how those guys pan out, because those 2 guys should be starters on this team at the beginning of the season, and they should not only be starters, they should be making a difference. It doesn't mean that Mason Graham has to lead the team in sacks, but he has to be out there and be holding guys so that Myles Garrett can do what Myles Garrett does. Schlesinger has to be able to hold down that linebacking position that JOK, he doesn't have to be JOK, but he has to be able to hold it down and be able to then let the rest of the linebackers do the things that they're supposed to do. Those guys have to make a difference. We expect our 2 running backs to make a difference because they're, it was a deep class for the running backs. Obviously, we don't know about the quarterbacks, and we also expect Harold Fannin to make a difference. So really, there's an expectation that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys out of this draft should be on the team and making a difference. We've never had that. Never had that before. Never had that. So it's really, again, see how they do. And this is when I think you really grade Andrew Berry. This is when you really grade Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff. Is now you got guys that other teams would say should be making the difference. Like if they were on other teams, they would say that guy should be making a difference. What do you do with it? So that's my take.
Gonna be something to see.
What's that?
There's gonna be something to see. I'm just thinking back to the last time the Browns ran a 2 tight end system. We were at the top of the league as far as rushing, so it makes sense. Drafting 2 running backs, got the 2 tight ends. Mm-hmm. So if the offensive line can do their thing, then I already know what the season should look like.
Right. And you don't put any pressure on your quarterbacks, any of them. Not really. Look, just manage the game. Get the snap from the center, turn around, hand the ball to one of your running backs. Every now and then, step back, roll out, throw a pass to your tight ends. Every now and then, send the guy deep, get him a ball down there. You don't have to do a whole lot.
So I was sitting here thinking about about the run game when we had a run game.
Smoke coming out of your hat.
But I can't remember the first game as far as how the offense went. But when we played Pittsburgh, when Chubb got hurt, we was moving the ball down the field pretty decent. Mm-hmm. So I agree. I mean, the run game, losing Chubb made a big difference.
It did.
And not having that dominant run game.
It did. It did. Yep.
And our line, I mean, one thing I can say is when Watson snapped that ball, they was on him quick.
They was on him.
So,
yeah,
we'll see.
and that's all we can say is that we'll see, because we won't know until the season starts. I mean, going back to the Cavs, they was healthy all season long to the playoffs. You can't say that it didn't affect them in the playoffs because it did. I'm not saying that's the reason, but I'm just saying it did affect them because they weren't healthy. Guys playing out of position. Well, the same thing with the offensive line. Guys playing, you bringing in your second string guy to start over here, but then you got to bring in a third string guy to start over here. They ain't played together all season long. No practice together, none of it. That's in a game time situation. Your quarterback is back there running for his behind. He just ran like, oh my God, because these guys, it's not that those guys necessarily aren't good. It's just that you get into that game time situation, you got a guy next to you haven't had next to you. That makes a big difference. When you're running with the first team, and you played football before, Mike, you understand when you're running with the first team, that's a whole different thing than running with the second team. You know what I'm saying? Or if you the scout squad, that's a difference, because those guys aren't the first team guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so if they take a guy from the second team and put him on the first team, that messes kind of continuity up with the first team, but it also messes up the second team because now we got to put a third stringer in there to run with us. That messes up everything. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's a lot, especially when, and again, everybody gets injuries. But now some injuries to some teams are more devastating than other injuries. When going back to basketball, when Jason Tatum went out, you could see the life go out of Boston.
Yeah.
You could see the life go out of Boston.
That was it.
When Evan Mobley went out, you could see the life go out of Cleveland. They weren't so much worried about Darius Garland or Hunter, but it was Evan Mobley because he is that difference maker. He's that difference maker. Same thing, when you go into football, when you got your second and third string guys in there, it kind of, and the quarterback sitting back there like, man, every time they hike the ball, man,
they own me.
They own me. They own me. Y'all don't understand. I'm trying to do what I can, but they own me every time. And he gets frustrated. He gets upset.
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't? If every time you look up, they own you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got a chance to not even survey he got to get the ball out quicker. He can't get the ball out any quicker. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I think it's going to be a better season than what a lot of people. But I also think that the expectation of Browns fans this year isn't as high as it was last year because of the year that we went off the year before was so great and all that Flacco fever and all that. And we went into last year like, yeah, we're just going to do it all. We're just going to do it. And we fell flat. So this year, I say you ain't got nowhere to go but up. So your expectations aren't that great. You know what? Yeah, we should have a decent season. Okay. All right, cool. We'll win some, we'll lose some, but we'll have a decent season. And then next year we'll see how things go. So cool. Yeah, we've been on here a little while. I didn't know we was on here that long. I was like an hour, but we got the rolling up in here. So with that, so we talked about all our teams. All right. So as far as now, I know this is not about us, but as far as the NBA playoffs go, you guys have a prediction as to who will end up playing OKC and who will actually end up winning the championship? Just to, if you got to, thinking about it.
I mean, Indiana most definitely taking it tonight in Indiana. Okay. Yeah, it's over with for New York.
Okay.
So
man, OKC and Indy.
Watching Indy. I mean, if you ask me this beginning of playoffs with Indiana and OKC, I'd be like, OKC about to sweep.
Like, what? No way.
I will give OKC in 6.
OKC in 6. Okay.
I give OKC in 6.
Okay. All right. Okay. What about you, Matt? You got any thoughts on it? If not, it's cool, sir.
Actually, kind of to what Mike was saying, but I think Indiana gonna win the finals. They just got the momentum. They're a hot team. They have literally everything going for them. And I think it'll be Indiana at 6. It's crazy as it sounds. Like Mike said at the beginning of the playoffs, if you would have told me Indiana would have been playing like this, never would have thought it. Never would have thought it. But yeah, them boys rolling. So I'm gonna give us Indiana. I know OKC gonna be rested and ready to go, but I think Indiana just got a different hunger in this year's playoffs, and I don't think they can be stopped.
Yeah, I think Indy would probably. I think Indy should end New York tonight, and I think that Indy will win because I think they just have that mindset. And again, I'm not OKC. I think is they're phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that Indy has that grit about them. I think that they would grind this championship out and win the championship. But I mean, OKC could easily do it too because they're playing really well as well too. But at some point, I think that stops as well too. So, like Indy's game seems to just transcend all the playoffs. They're not high, they're not low. OKC blew people out by 20, 30 points, and ain't no big deal. They didn't win, but Indy's just been consistent all the way across. And I think well, also I think Minnesota wasn't really that much of a match for OKC. And I mean, they didn't really have anybody. Denver was a better match, but Denver, I think they got their championship. I think Joker's like, I'm good. So
I just think they played Joker very well.
Yeah. I mean, Joker's like, I play ball. That's it. I've won my championship. He don't really look at it in the same way as a lot of guys do. And that's been something that knock on him is that he really don't take it as serious as everybody else. And I'm like, well, I mean, it is, but he's already won it. So it is what it is. Like if you've been to the pinnacle, if you've been to the top, you might be good with that.
Do you think that's just a foreign thing? Because I look at Luka like that too, and Embiid. Like you look at Embiid, it's like they just out there just having fun.
I think so because I think they go through so much just to get here,
right?
As opposed to what we as Americans do to get where we're going. Now, don't get me wrong, because guys over here, we do our thing, places that we come from, but the things that they come from compared to where we come from. Yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different. Yeah. So, but I also think that, once they made it, again, it's like the pinnacle is to win the championship. And once you win the championship, now Embiid hasn't, but I'm just saying, like, once you, his thing might have just been getting here. But then again, Philly's kind of like one of them funny teams. So that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. So, but yeah. All right, cool. So that was good. We've been on this for a while, but it was good because we haven't been on for a while. So it was good to get back on and just get filled in on everything that we had. And we'll get back to trying to do it on a regular basis, like we said. But again, life sometimes, and we're not able to. Any parting remarks that you guys want to, give before we sign on off and give our podcast and all that stuff?
I have one real quick. Mm-hmm. Can't believe I'm saying this.
Should I record this?
I know my boy won't be coming back to the Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb.
Who?
Nick Chubb.
He played for us?
Yeah, he did.
I can't remember that guy.
He won't be back, unfortunately. I wish him all the best. Whatever team he goes to, I will be rooting for him. I will buy his jersey. Nick Chubb, Cleveland Brown legend, no matter what happens.
Oh, yeah.
You always a Cleveland Brown to me, no matter what. And that's all I got to say about that. Go Chubb. I'm rooting for you wherever you go, baby.
I got it. That's cool. Any parting shots? Any parting shots or remarks, Mike?
Not pertaining to sports. I always want to give a shout out to my my military.
Always. Yeah, we did have Memorial Day too. Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. I met up with some guys in Michigan.
Absolutely.
That I haven't seen in a while, man. It was good seeing them. And it almost was like a reset. And that made me realize, like, what we go through in the military, a lot of civilians don't really understand. So I think we need to help each other, even if it's just talking. And we went to the one of our battles passed in Iraq, so we went to go see him and just felt good. And I just want to give a shout out to all my military, all my fallen soldiers, and just let them know, like, we love y'all, we appreciate y'all, everything that y'all do for us.
Nice. And I also want to give a shout out to those military folks, obviously being a military man myself and our family, and for Mike for what he's done. But also I want to give a shout out to Mike because Mike has stepped up and now he is actually mentoring helping out veterans that are out there. And that's an absolutely what we need. Other veterans helping veterans out. And I think that is such a great cause on what you're doing, my brother. And I do salute you, even as, as an Air Force guy, but the funny thing is I tell people all the time, though we battle against each other, joke with each other all the time, we're still one family. I don't care what branch you're in. Once you said you sign up or you were drafted into that, you're my family. So I always look up to all those guys and women that have gone in and done that. But I do especially look out to those who give back to those that have been there. And that's what you're doing right now. So I appreciate that very much. So salute you, my brother. And to all those for Memorial Day. Also, we weren't here for Mother's Day. All the moms as well too, because we do, we know you ladies like our LES Sports podcast too. So we don't want to leave you all out. But thank you all for that as well too. And so I think with that, we will go ahead and we're going to go back again and we're going to ask them, Matt, how can they follow us?
On YouTube, you can find us at Lake Effect Sports Pod. TikTok, you can find us at Lake Effect_sports pod.
Thank you, sir. And Mike, what do they need to do?
Make sure y'all like, comment, please comment, and subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends about LES. And we really appreciate y'all. We coming out with more content. We just a big family, man. As RJ say less.
Say less. Say less.
Real quick, hey, the last post hit 16,000 views.
Yep.
So yeah, we getting out there.
Yep, and we getting out there. And again, it's because of people subscribing and posting and talking, all that. And again, as we continue to improve, as we continue to learn this podcasting stuff, we'll expand things. We're gonna maybe get some in studio guests in here with us and talking about stuff. And as the seasons go on, we might even get a few of the people from the other teams to come in when we're playing against them and make some friendly wagers, maybe even on about a game or something, like just to have fun, because that's all it's about. It's about us having fun and enjoying each other's things. So we just thank you again for everything that you guys are doing, helping us out. Keep subscribing, keep following, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mama, tell your grandma, tell great grandma, whatever you need to do. Tell them all, come on out, follow LES Sports Podcast. All right, gentlemen, until we meet again, deuces.
All right,